Hello, people. Oh, just got finished eating a Ricola. Not sponsored, by the way. Don't want to cough. Try not to cough. That's all it is. Okay, this week went with a little sci-fi action. Went with Mass Effect Andromeda Initiation. This is the first time it's happened. Now, I don't know specifically, but I feel like when I went to Audible, you go to Audible and you find a series you like, right? You click on it and it'll show you the series in whatever order. Sometimes they even say like chronological or publication order. So they give you two options sometimes even. So I did that for this series, for this Mass Effect Andromeda series. And it told me the other book was book 1 and this is book 2. But this one feels like it should have been book 1. So I don't know why it sent me squirrely like that. So just as a lookout, I can't go change the other video. I would say read this one first and then read Nexus Uprising if you're inclined. Because this all okay, so the other one, they go over to Andromeda and the crap hits the fan. I was expecting this is sort of a continuation of whatever happened there, but then I went right back to before the mission even went, before it was even left off. So it's very weird. In any case, that aside, we still have this book. What do I think? How did it go? Was it fun? Yes, it's very fun. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. It is good, solid, hearty science fiction. It's not overly long, but it's not interdependent on the other books, but it is dependent upon your knowledge of sort of the source material, the Mass Effect material, as it were. So if you played the games, you'll like this book more. Now, if you're coming at it straight, I think you'll like it enough. I think you'll be able to. It doesn't harp on the things that it doesn't explain, so you can just move with the story. But if you're in my position, and this is as a fan of the material, it'd be like not getting enough Lord of the Rings, right? Yeah, I want more all the time. Whereas Lord of the Rings is this big, long story. These people, and I don't know, because it's a property, it's a game, right? So they might have wanted, the publisher may give me this in a certain length of time. I don't know what the parameters were. Okay, so when I say they didn't describe enough or you need backstory or this or that, I'm not holding that to the authors, right? So this isn't a mark on their skill. Very skilled authors here. But I do feel like they may have been constrained by outside effects, right? So if the publisher comes and says, I need it this long and done on this day, it's a paying gig. You just got to do that, I suppose. So with that in mind, knowing that you're going to have not questions. It answers all its questions. You're going to have interests, which maybe is the point, right? Maybe it makes you want to go play the game. So it's an odd position. It's not a novelization. It's not its standalone book. It's an interesting position for a book to be in. But it is still a book. It is still a story. And it is still fun. So, 3 out of 5. You don't have to stop what you're reading to go read this. If you get in a mode of I like a lot of sci-fi this week or this month, you can grab this one and it'll be fun. Like I said, it would be the beginning of the trilogy, so you don't need to read the Nexus Uprising like I did. You could just grab either of those two and just go with what it gives you. So we have our Cora Harper. She's a biotic. Biotics being, I think, humans, not any sentient being, because there are now multiple alien races, with some kind of I say telekinetic ability that then you apply types of technology to make it do something, right? So you're a biotic by nature, you get implants, and now you could make like a force field or a gravitational field, right? These kind of fun stuff to do, fun sciencey stuff. And at this time, Earth has just got into sort of the galactic race, the galactic sort of situation. So we don't have a lot of biotics. She's one of them. And she went and trained with Asari. These are, again, the book doesn't explain this. And I think you'd get more out of the book if it gave it maybe a paragraph that says the Asari are like an all-female race of aliens that can live like 1,000 years. I think you get a little more out of it. But it doesn't say that. But I knew that going in. So I think it's one of those, you get the sense that they live longer. I don't think you get the sense of their descriptions as much. In any case, that's what Asari are. She was trained with them in this special like transaction, diplomatic situation, this kind of thing, right? There's politics. So she's better than average. But that training's up. She's come back to sort of humanity. And her lead, the matriarch, sent her to this guy specific, this writer. He along with like a rich person is fielding a expedition, a one-way expedition to Andromeda. Should take them 600 years of sleeping before they wake up. Now, this is some of the fun part. The explanations deeper in, you have this big freaking ship. It's something to the number of 20,000 people asleep, hurtling through the galaxy. And they're going to set up completely on detached from anything because, it's 600 years and you're not going to be able to send them help in any reasonable amount of time. Now the story goes on, but this point comes back over and over as to why would you leave everything behind and go do this? And it slowly, unravels their mystery as to why. The story itself is like a sci-fi heist conspiracy kind of a story. That's your sort of the energy. It's a fun energy. But I like this idea of a deep space colony. And their idea, okay, so like imagine we meet that there's aliens and it's been 15 years. Right? We're now the lowest on the totem pole. We're the least technological. We don't live as long as the others. We don't live as long as the Asari. We're not as military as the Turians. We're not as physically strong as the Krogan or as smart as the Solarians. Right? And so some people, some humans see that as a constant negative on humanity. We will never be able to grow in a way that's outside of their influence. And that influence is always going to put them superior. And so we'll always just be this underclass. Right? So for a fresh start is 100% new. We can go. We will have the first footings all there. We'll have all this tech because you're bringing all the records and this and that. So you'll have the tech that they have. At least 600 years old. But you'll be able to plant it yourself. And their idea is to give humanity this chance. Now, do we think humanity would need that chance? I don't know. I don't think so. I think humanity we're adaptable, right? But do I also think some people would think we need that chance? Yeah, 100%. And could I find 10,000 in the whole world that would go on this trip? I think you could. Along with some of the other alien races. So it's completely feasible. Now, he gives her a VI that she ends up calling Sam E. And it's supposed to be like this integration into her biologically that the VI does. Well, it turns out it's not a VI. She goes on. Some of this VI was stolen, so he asked her as the first assignment to go get it back. She hires some friends she knows, another Asari, to go retrieve it. They retrieve it, then she instantly gets double-crossed. She ends up jettisoned out into space. She barely survives. But then it's like, this isn't simple tech. What is going on? He spills the beans. It's not a VI, it's an AI. And that's his dream. And the way they say it, it's very illegal. Now, this is, again, divergent completely from the book. It's been a while since I played, so I don't remember artificial intelligence being illegal. But I do know that the Geth are a massive problem in the universe. And they are robot artificial intelligence. But I don't think they were defeated by the time this book's written, because they're talking about, I forget what the special agents are called that you end up playing as in the first game. But the way they describe it in the book, they don't have one of those agents yet. So Commander Shepard isn't gotten his job yet. Ergo, the Geth the Geth or the Reapers haven't been destroyed. So I'm a little confused as to the timeline. I go with it, right? Because since I don't have all knowledge on the subject, I'll just go with it for the sake of the book. But I'm a little confused on that instance. Having said all that, I think that would be a good reason to make an artificial intelligence illegal. If you are currently in a war with like a race of robots, you can see people getting sideways about it. So in his mind, he's like, well, we're going to Andromeda. Those laws won't be our laws. We don't have to follow any of these laws. We can set up laws like we wanted, a fresh start from society from the ground up. Makes the initiative, the Andromeda initiative, more interesting, right? Now, his idea isn't just to make an AI. He wants to make an AI. It integrates like the biotic does, right? So somehow this tech can get in and do stuff into your body. Well, he wants his AI able to take those same pathways. And so, as an example, your blood is pumped, your nervous system is active. Now imagine that you're a robot. And now an artificial intelligence can maneuver those inner systems you have that are organic in ways that are beneficial, right? So, somebody gets adrenaline and they can lift something heavy. What if the artificial intelligence could make that happen for you? Could help you remember things. Could enhance your eyesight. It's like input's coming in, and then it digitally messes with it, and then feeds you clearer imagery than you would have picked up. Just this kind of idea. That's his idea, but not just for him, but for every human. He wants to implant one of these in every human. And that will get us, by the time everyone reaches us in Andromeda, his words, that'll get us the step ahead that we need to catch up galactically. And I'm like, that's a pretty heavy idea. That's pretty cool, actually. And then I was thinking, we're kind of leaning that way with Google already, right? Where everyone has their phone next to them. How many times a day are you going to Google something, having a conversation, we're not sure about who's in the movie? I mean, that seems subtle. I mean, that seems small. But it's how long before it's a bigger part of your work or your life? Or some implant, some dental implant that now it's some laser light in your eye. You know what I mean? It seems like we're heading that way already. This is the funnest part about sci-fi. When it starts to relate in these, tangential ways to the real world. Just taken to the obvious extreme and then fiddled with. That's what's so fun. I like this idea. I'd definitely take one. I would definitely take one. So now she's trying to hunt down this person who betrayed her. A friend, a powerful biotic, an Asari. It's a big task. So she goes to Nos Astra on Ilium. This is a Asari planet. Again, these are the fun parts to me. The funnest parts of this book is just these little windows into the other races. This is an Asari planet, and so their laws are just completely different. Anything can be sort of in a weird legal way done. Slavery, an assassination had paperwork that went along with it just so it's legal for them. But they're not opposed to it. But you have certain rules you have to follow. This kind of thing, right? It's so fun. And you imagine it on a planet where everyone lives 1,000 years. I'm like, all right, I can see where the rules would be a little different. So that's what happens here. She talks to a Volus. Again, you only get a few peeks. There's not a lot of the alien races this time. Kind of sad. But you talk to a Volus information broker, which I'm like, that's a perfect job for a Volus. They love to get into stuff. And it tells them where they can find this person who ends up dead already, right? So that's where it turns into sort of this weird conspiracy. So a double crossing heist turns into a murdered old friend traitor conspiracy theory as to who did it and why, right? Very fun. We move along, and it gets to where the person who hired the hit, meaning the person who would have the rest of the SAM-E data, right? Because you can't have the AI data getting out, or the law will come after you and maybe shut down the whole thing before it can leave to the Andromeda system. So it boils down to they have to go to a base, secret base. I love the name of this base. This base is called Quiet Eddie. I don't know why I love this name. It just works for me for some reason. It's not some kind of goofy Riseberg 1, this kind of weird space. Some of them are too Flash Gordon, some of the names. But it's just enough of a change, right? So Quiet Eddie is very un-sci-fi. So shoved in with a bunch of other sci-fi, it makes it feel more like a unique science fiction world, if that makes sense. There's another one that's called Hope's Landing or something like this. Just as sort of the generic type of a name. But that it adds this element. This is what Mass Effect has always done so well in my head. The races are very fleshed out. In the game, the music, even the lighting was very unique. I mean, it's hard to find solid, unique sci-fi because there's so much sci-fi already. How do you think of a new alien race that's not, been taken? It's very tricky. And Mass Effect did it to a T. So we go to this base called Quiet Eddie. And then in it is just dead bodies everywhere. And they're like horribly mangled. So what ended up happening here is they're a secret military off the books base, meaning they're doing illegal stuff. The illegal stuff they were doing is making AIs. They stole some of SAM-E's data and they put it in a kind of a super soldier. We're talking 8 feet tall, mindless, but a brute. They can just squish heads, rip bodies apart, And like I was saying earlier, the AI can control the body. And it's a mindless thing already. But the AI infected the whole station, right? So there's 25 of these, 30 of these. When it was hard for her to kill one, there's like 30 of them on the base. Literally killed everyone except this small pocket who hid. And an AI overarching is controlling the whole thing, this whole little asteroid base. Of course, not trying to let anyone leave. Who knows what it's learning, right? It's a problem. But it's twofold problem. One, You can't let the AI out, right? If it hops on the ship and it gets to a bigger spot, it'll just make a bigger problem. And two, you got to get these hostages out. Even though now our hostages are one's the assassin who killed the other lady, and the rest are, sort of illegal workers working on illegal projects subterraneously. So it's an interesting take on some hostages too, right? But she gives them the business, but she's going to save them. She's not going to lead them. Our Harper. But what else we do is her Sammy says that he can sort of do what the mindless ones are doing to her, but beneficially. So if he activates everything that she has, all her internal organs and stuff, right? Like that adrenaline dump when you're just lifting cars, that she can just go all out with sort of what he says, like a Krogan blood rage, meaning you almost don't know friend from foe. You can barely recognize anything. The lizard brain's controlling it, along with the AI now, and it's just full the max your body can do. Obviously, then the problem is, you're taxing your body to the extreme. You can only take so much, of course, before muscles tear apart. And what it does, like it sort of cooking your brain or something, so that you might go crazy. It might be too much of a strain on your mental. You can't recover. The Sammy says that this is natural for Krogans. Krogans can do this, but they're naturally like that, so it doesn't affect them mentally, whereas it might affect a person. It's a small window that she can turn herself into this super soldier. And at first, she's going to lead the party out to her shuttle. But the evil AI finds out, but only about her. So she goes one way to distract. The rest can get out. Heroic, right? And she's burning through them. She's burning through them until, you got to shut it off or you'll die. And then it's like the system dump. She can barely move her arms. She almost dies. Of course, they come back and save her, a couple of the people. One was the assassin, I believe. One was the captain. She ends up saved, but in a coma for like a month now. It's very fun. It's very action to see the body, attacks, vortexes, this kind of thing, just ripping these things apart. It's very fun. Sort of in the end, though, it turns out that it was just a test. The Sam E, who over the course of time, even though it's just an AI, you sort of do get attached to. Turns out he can't sustain on his own. Whatever internal system works it'll eventually fail, right? So that Sammy is going to die, reintegrate fully into the normal Sam system, and she'll lose it, right? So she's really mad. Obviously you're mad about this. But then we get a last attack. The Sam systems themselves are about to, get melted. We end up barely saving them. Here's the odd part is he says in the end that he can't transfer it that way. He can't transfer Sam, the program, to every person. It has to be someone genetically the same as his. So only his kids can inherit the AI, the Pathfinder AI. And I think there's something to that in the game. I think I've played the first bit of the game. I guess that makes sense for the game. I don't know how much sense it makes. I suppose if you integrate technology into someone's genetics, and genetics are individual, then I suppose you could make it, it's an interesting take to say that the AI is tied to you genetically. It's a pretty interesting take. I don't hate it. I do hate that I lost Sam E. But we get one of those classic I am Sam E, or at least the memories and blah, 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 right? So the Sam E gets merged into the normal one. It's part of the personality now, right? Because computers can just absorb it, right? Do they actually die? So you lose the companion. You'd like to have the Harper keep that AI by the end. But it works for the story. And then we get the setup for the next book, which should have been, which now I don't know. The third book, I'm going to see if it's some of the travel or what I don't know what we're going to get in the third book, because they might be all discombobulated by now. But that's what you get out of this one. Fun concepts, fun sci-fi, fun action. It's a fun book. Go check it out. I think I covered what I wanted. It's another short video because I am constantly having to edit out hacking up lung, which is annoying to everyone involved. But hopefully next week I'll be fine. Well, what can you do? It's sci-fi fun. All right, ad time. I have a sci-fi book. Wait. Do I have a sci-fi book? Technically, not yet. Not like this, not with aliens and stuff. I do need to write one though. I do need to write one. Yeah. No, I do have a sci-fi book. I remember. Yeah, I'll post go buy this one. Is it better than this one? I don't know. They're different. Let's say they're different. If you have to buy one, you buy mine because it helps the channel. Right? Right? If you're a Mass Effect fan, go ahead and get this. If you're into sci-fi, go ahead and get this Mass Effect one. It's fun. It is fun. Okay, people. I'm gonna go cough up more lungage. I don't need my lungs anyway, right? No, who needs lungs? I'll be fine. It's not that bad. It's just annoying. I'll talk to you people next week.